Hello dear children, welcome to the class. Today is the third session of this unit, National Income and Related Aggregates. Now in today's class we'll be learning few more terms like your transfer income, factor income and other concepts. So let's start with the first term for the day, that is factor income. The payment for the services rendered to the production units by the owners of the factors of production is called factor payment or factor income. For example, wages and salaries, rent, interest, profit. Now see, we all of us know that there are four factors of production: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. So the payment made to these factors of production by the production units, fine, in return of their services will be termed as factor payment, and these factor payment in the hands of the owners of these factors of production will be termed as factor income. For labor, the factor income generated is wages. For land, it is rent. For capital, it is interest. And for entrepreneurship, it is profit. So national income includes only factor payment in return for factor services provided in production of goods and services. So national income includes only the factor payment. फैक्टर पेमेंट कौन सी फैक्टर पेमेंट? जिसके बदले में कोई सर्विसेज रेंडर की गई है, फाइन, एंड दे हैव गिवन the owners of factors of production have rendered their services. क्यों दिए उन्होंने अपनी फैक्टर सर्विसेज, क्यों दी है? फॉर द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ फाइनल गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज प्रोड्यूस्ड इन द इकोनॉमी. तो नेशनल इनकम कैलकुलेट करते समय हम बेटा वो फैक्टर पेमेंट या फैक्टर इनकम इंक्लूड करते हैं जो कि अर्नड इनकम है. That is earned income. That means the factors of production have given their services and earned that income in return. So only that income is going to be included while calculating national income. On the other hand, there is another concept is used is transfer income. Now transfer income is any payment for which no service is rendered is called transfer payment or ट्रांसफर इनकम. बेटा ट्रांसफर इनकम वो इनकम है जिसके बदले में कोई सर्विसेज रेंडर नहीं हुई है. डज नॉट इन्वॉल्व एनी प्रोडक्शन ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज. कोई प्रोडक्शन ऑफ गुड्स और कोई सर्विस रेंडर नहीं की गई है. इज जस्ट एन इनकम विच इज बीइंग गिवन इन रिटर्न ऑफ नथिंग. कुछ भी उसके बदले में, उस इनकम के बदले में सर्विसेज रेंडर नहीं हुई है या कोई भी एनी ट्रांसफर जो फैक्टर ऑफ प्रोडक्शन है उन्होंने कोई सर्विस रेंडर नहीं करी है. फॉर एग्जांपल गिफ्ट्स, डोनेशंस, चैरिटी, ओल्ड एज पेंशन, स्कॉलरशिप्स, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट अलाउंस, पॉकेट मनी एटसेट्रा. ट्रांसफर पेमेंट इज नॉट इंक्लूडेड इन नेशनल इनकम. ट्रांसफर पेमेंट को हम नेशनल इनकम में इंक्लूड नहीं करते हैं. रीजन क्यों इंक्लूड नहीं करते? बिकॉज ट्रांसफर पेमेंट इज नॉट एन अर्नड इनकम. फाइन, ट्रांसफर इनकम और ट्रांसफर पेमेंट इज नॉट अ अर्नड इनकम as it does not involve any production activity, and national income is a measure of a value of production activity of the country. national income calculate करते समय हम जो फैक्टर इनकम अर्न होती हैं उनको इंक्लूड करते हैं. जो ट्रांसफर इनकम होती है जिनके बदले में कोई सर्विसेज रेंडर नहीं होती है उसको हम नेशनल इनकम के अंदर ट्रांसफर इनकम को इंक्लूड नहीं करते हैं. Reason again, because it does not involve any production activity. Now the next concept which we'll talk is inventory and change in inventories. Inventory is a stock variable. It is treated as capital. Stock of unsold finished or semi-finished goods or raw material which a firm carries from one year to another is termed as inventory. Inventory is measured at a given point of time, and that is why the first point, it's a stock variable, because it is measured at a point of time. और इन्वेंट्री बेटा किसकी होती है? जो अनसोल्ड फिनिश स्टॉक हमारे वेयर हाउस में बचा रह गया, या सेमी फिनिश गुड्स जिसको हमने नेक्स्ट ईयर में प्रोसेस करना है, या रॉ मटेरियल जो कि करंट ईयर में कंज्यूम नहीं हुआ. एंड ऑल दिस इन्वेंट्री वी आर गोइंग टू कैरी फॉरवर्ड इन द नेक्स्ट फाइनेंशियल ईयर. Example is value of inventory in the beginning of the year. It is the same inventory which was left at the end of the previous financial year. Change in inventory, it's a flow concept because it's change in inventory. It is not going to be a static concept. It's a flow variable. It is treated as investment, that is addition to the stock of capital of a firm. So net increase in inventory is given by closing inventory minus opening inventories. And change in inventory took place over a period of time. बेटा inventory जो change होती है, जो difference आता है stock में, it is being taking place over a period of time. That is why we say that change in inventory, it's a flow variable. And we calculate change in inventory by subtracting opening inventory from the closing inventory. Now, net product taxes and net production taxes. Net product taxes. Product taxes and subsidies are paid or received per unit of product. For example, excise tax, service tax, export and import duties. Net production taxes and subsidies are paid or received in relation to production and are independent on the volume of production. For example, land revenue or stamp and registration fee on the land. बेटा प्रोडक्ट टैक्स जो होते हैं वो पर यूनिट प्रोडक्ट के हिसाब से चार्ज होते हैं, लेकिन प्रोडक्शन टैक्सेस पर यूनिट यूनिट्स पे डिपेंडेंट नहीं होते. They are charged in lump sum, fine, and they are independent of the volume of production. I hope that the difference between net product tax and net production tax is clear to everyone. So market price include both net product taxes and net production taxes. Factor cost includes only payment of factors of production. It does not include any tax. And basic price includes net production taxes, but not net product taxes. I'll repeat myself. These are the three very important points which need to be remembered in national income accounting. First is market price includes both the type of taxes, net product taxes जो per unit के हिसाब से calculate होते हैं, and net production taxes जो कि हम lump sum pay करते हैं for the services. तो market price में दोनों ही taxes include होते हैं. Whereas factor cost includes only payment to factors of production. It does not include any tax. फैक्टर कॉस्ट में कोई टैक्स इंक्लूड नहीं होता. तो जब हम फैक्टर कॉस्ट में नेट इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेस को ऐड करते हैं बेटा, तो हमारे पास मार्केट प्राइस आती है. एंड बेसिक प्राइस इंक्लूड नेट प्रोडक्शन टैक्सेस बट नॉट नेट प्रोडक्ट टैक्स. यानी कि बेसिक प्राइस, हालांकि थर्ड पॉइंट इज नॉट वेरी much in practical use, just for your additional information, कि जो basic price है, it only includes net production taxes but not net product taxes. Now the next important term which we are going to learn today is domestic territory. बेटा domestic territory और एक और term अभी आगे आएगी, normal resident. ये दोनों टर्म्स को बहुत अच्छे से समझेंगे because we are left with one more concept which is very useful in the calculation of national income accounting, that is net factor income from abroad, NFIA. वो क्या होती है, कैसे उसको कैलकुलेट करते हैं, क्या उसका सिग्निफिकेंस होता है, उसके लिए we need to have a good understanding of the domestic territory and normal resident. So let's first understand what is domestic territory. Domestic territory means the political frontier or boundary of a country. However, for the purpose of national income accounting, it is used in a wider sense. Fine. देखिए, political frontier जो suppose this is our country India, है ना, और इंडिया की जो पॉलिटिकल फ्रंटियर के अंदर अंदर जितना एरिया आता है इस बाउंड्री के अंदर अंदर, वो हमारी डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी है. लेकिन जब हम नेशनल इनकम अकाउंटिंग कैलकुलेट करने की बात करते हैं तो डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी इंक्लूड्स अदर थिंग्स एज वेल. So let's now list these other things. Domestic territory includes ships and aircrafts owned and operated by normal residents between two or more countries. तो सबसे पहला पॉइंट क्या है कि डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी के अंदर शिप्स और एयरक्राफ्ट्स जो कि ओन्ड मतलब ओनर है एंड ऑपरेटेड चला भी रहे हैं कौन, नॉर्मल रेजिडेंट्स between two or more countries. Now the question arises कि normal resident कौन होते हैं? Normal residents of a country refers to the individual or an institution who ordinarily resides in the country and whose center of economic interest also lie in that country. Normal resident कौन होते हैं? जो कि एक country के अंदर they are residing मतलब रह रहे हैं और उनका जो इकोनॉमिक एक साल के लिए और जो उनका इकोनॉमिक इंटरेस्ट है यानी कि उनका जो मीन्स ऑफ लाइवलीहुड है वो भी उस कंट्री के अंदर लाई करता है, देन दैट पर्सन विल बी ट्रीटेड एज अ नॉर्मल रेजिडेंट ऑफ अ कंट्री. तो डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी के अंदर ऑब्वियसली द एरिया इनसाइड द पॉलिटिकल फ्रंटियर और बाउंड्री ऑफ द नेशन वो तो डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी का पार्ट है ही. इसके अलावा द फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज शिप्स एंड एयरक्राफ्ट्स व्हिच आर ओन्ड एंड ऑपरेटेड बाय नॉर्मल रेजिडेंट्स बिटवीन टू और मोर कंट्रीज is also going to be a part of the domestic territory. Now normal resident of a country then and obviously those ships and aircrafts are being operated between two or more countries. तो जो जिसकी वो शिप है जिसका वो एयरक्राफ्ट है जिस कंट्री का है ना जो ओनर है एंड दे आर ऑपरेटेड बाय द नॉर्मल रेजिडेंट ऑफ द कंट्री सो इट विल बी ट्रीटेड एज अ डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी ऑफ दैट कंट्री. सेकंड पॉइंट इज प्लेन ऑपरेटेड बाय एयर इंडिया बिटवीन Russia and Japan. Now, this is not a point. This is an example of the point which we have discussed right now. See, plane operated by Air India between Russia and Japan are part of domestic territory of India. Now, see, this is Russia. This is Japan. This is Air India plane which is operated. Now, this is owned by India and it is operated by Indian resident. This is operated by Indian resident. So this is going to be a part of the area which this plane is occupying is going to be a part of domestic territory of India. Planes operated by Singapore Airways between India and Japan are a part of domestic territory of yes, it's a part of the domestic territory of Singapore. Second point, fishing vessel, oil and natural gas rigs and floating platforms operated by the residents of a country in international water where they have exclusive rights of operations. Fine. They are also going to be a part of domestic territory of that country. कौन कौन जैसे फिशिंग वेसल्स होते हैं, ऑयल एंड नेचुरल रिग्स होती हैं, फ्लोटिंग प्लेटफॉर्म्स होते हैं, बट दे आर ऑपरेटेड बाय द रेजिडेंट्स ऑफ अ कंट्री इन इंटरनेशनल वाटर वेयर दे हैव एक्सक्लूसिव राइट्स ऑफ ऑपरेशन. तो वो एरिया भी डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी का पार्ट होता है उस कंट्री का. फॉर एग्जाम्पल फिशिंग बोट्स ऑपरेटेड बाय इंडियन फिशरमैन. फिशिंग बोट्स हैं कौन ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं, इंडियन फिशरमैन कर रहे हैं इन इंटरनेशनल वाटर्स ऑफ इंडियन ओशन विल बी कंसिडर्ड अ पार्ट ऑफ डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी ऑफ इंडिया. द थर्ड Third point, very important point. It is embassies, consulates, and military establishments of a country located abroad. For example, Indian embassy in Russia is a part of domestic territory of India. So देखिए इंडियन एम्बेसी है तो प्लेस रशिया में, लेकिन जितना एरिया इस एम्बेसी ने लिया हुआ है वो इंडिया की डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी का पार्ट इंक्लूड होगा. So, domestic territory includes, in addition to the political frontiers, the area inside the boundaries of the country. Apart from this, domestic territory include ships and aircrafts owned and operated by normal residents between two or more countries, fishing vessels, oil, natural gas rigs, and floating platforms operated by the residents of the country in the international waters where they have exclusive rights of operation, and embassies, consulates, and military establishments of a country located abroad. Domestic territory does not include embassies, consulates, and military establishment of a foreign country. For example, Japanese embassy in India is a part of domestic territory of Japan, not though the embassy is present or the area which that embassy is occupying is in the political frontier boundary of India. लेकिन जापान की एम्बेसी जो कि इंडिया में लोकेटेड है, जितना एरिया उस एम्बेसी ने लिया हुआ है, that will not be included as a domestic territory of India. That will be a part of domestic territory of Japan. International organizations like UNO, WHO, etc., located within the geographical boundaries of a country, they are also excluded from the domestic territory of the country. So according to United Nations, domestic territory is the geographical territory administered by a government within which persons, goods and capital circulate. यूनाइटेड नेशन ने डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी का जो डेफिनेशन दिया है उसके अकॉर्डिंगली डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी क्या है, ज्योग्राफिकल टेरिटरी है, और उस ज्योग्राफिकल टेरिटरी में गवर्नमेंट का जो रूल है दैट विल बी अप्लाइड विद इन विच पर्संस, गुड्स एंड कैपिटल विल सर्कुलेट. आप कभी भी see if you want to travel to some other country which is not a part of your obviously the domestic territory, so you have to apply for visa, you have to seek permission fine from that country that whether he can come or not. Similarly, goods when they are exported or imported, again you cannot import export on your own, you need to have certain permissions in the form of license from the government. So that is why it's being said that according to United Nations, domestic territory is a geographical territory administered by a government within which people or your persons, goods and capital circulate. So here is a short quiz. Question is, which of the following are covered under the domestic territory of India? First is Indian company in London. Now Indian company in London is going to be a part of domestic territory of London. So this is not going to be a part of Indian domestic territory. Microsoft Office in India, अगर ऑफिस माइक्रोसॉफ्ट का इंडिया में है तो इंडिया की डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी का पार्ट है. देन कंपनी इन इंडिया ओन्ड बाय जापानीज. सो though the owner of the company is Japanese, but the company is in India, so it is going to be a part of domestic territory of India. Next is Office of Reliance Industries in New York. Reliance is an Indian company. उसका ऑफिस न्यूयॉर्क में है. न्यूयॉर्क में अगर ऑफिस है तो डेफिनेटली it is not going to be included in the domestic territory of India. So the answer is no. Now again, which of the following are covered under the domestic territory of India? Branch of foreign bank in India. Now, फॉरेन बैंक की ब्रांच इंडिया में, अब अगर इंडिया में है तो दैट इज गोइंग टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी ऑफ इंडिया. देन इंडियन एम्बेसी इन जापान, इंडियन एम्बेसी है जापान के अंदर है, दो इट इज इन द डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी इन द country of Japan, but the area occupied by Indian embassy in Japan will be included in the domestic territory of India. So yes, branch of State Bank of India in China, branch of State Bank of India in China. So China में है branch bank की, so it is not going to be a part of domestic territory of India. रशियन एम्बेसी इन इंडिया, रशियन एम्बेसी इंडिया में जो है, तो जितना एरिया एम्बेसी ने ऑक्यूपाई किया हुआ है, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी द पार्ट ऑफ डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी ऑफ रशिया एंड नॉट इंडिया. सो नो. एंड लास्ट इज टाटा rented its building to Google in America. Now Tata, no doubt, is a Indian company, but the building is there in America and Tata has rented its building to Google. So that is not going to be a part of domestic territory of India. That building is going to be, the area which the building is occupying in America is going to be a part of domestic territory of America. I hope by this small quiz, the concept of domestic territory is clear to everyone. Hope all of you have enjoyed the learning today. That's all for today from my side. Thank you very much.